But I don't know what he was talking about when he first got up and did that whole thing. I really and truly don't. I agree that what we should do is vote on the motion as presented by Anita and the committee, and then we'll deal with that afterwards.
Okay, your choice.
All right, this is certainly an option. Might I also suggest another option? There's clearly a state of confusion amongst the delegates, or at least some number of them. We could remand this to the advisory committee to fuse his work into the changes, publish them as we normally would, and come back with this at the next cycle.
Why don't we just approve it as presented and then deal with that?
We can certainly do that. Okay,
As the maker of the motion, that's my suggestion.
and that will allow us to make the changes and publication as well. That's fine. So why don't we vote as we were initially doing, and we will make the appropriate changes. I understand what he said. You just have to slow it down in your mind a little
Okay.
bit. All right?
Okay.
Let's
So-
go over it 3 times.
Right.
All right, so put up the original motion. All right. Yeah, that's the heading it's under.
Article
6. All right, is there any further discussion on this as it stands? And I would point out this has been published everywhere. All right, then take out your little clickers, please. Wait a minute, am I missing someone? No. All right. Marilyn? Yeah. Set it to collect the votes.
What?
I'm gonna have to get somebody else up on that thing. God. Swim in a sea of incompetence. I used to see incompetence. It's okay. It's okay.
Is John Gregg or is Ken Graff here who can help Marilyn? John Gregg? No? There he is. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Donald said it was 4 people.
Huh?
Donald said 4 people walked out.
It's okay. We got plenty of a buffer here.
Just letting you know, that's all. Because it changes the amount that you need.
People are just gonna walk out. It's intolerable. It's intolerable. Maybe we have to give up on this system. It's too complex for the monkeys we have. John, we going to be able to get this up, or should we go back to paper? should have been up there already. Fucking sea of incompetence. Keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's very silly. Nope. They don't have it. They don't have the.
Exodus has begun. Call it.
I don't believe this. You don't, you know.
He said he canceled instead. I know. It's a good thing that they worked on it.
We need some other people, Cam.
Yeah.
This is the wrong.
And I can learn. You have Cam Bell in charge of the votes. That's problematic.
Look at this. They keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
Well, go to paper.
Listen, we apologize. A lot of work went into getting this
All right, this is a
straightened
lot
out.
of fun.
We didn't.
Can we have a couple of people who are willing to do a count? We're going to go back to the bad old days. And I hear you, oh no, but they can't get it up and running. So, we used to have, oh, poor guy. All right. Yeah, Herbie used to do it.
Do it from here.
All right. Folks, get out your little red. All right. Let's go. All those in favor of this motion, please hold up. All right. Now, give the counters a minute to do the count. All right. We'd like to get it accurate. Is Patricia going to do the balcony?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's going there.
This whole section.
Yeah.
You have 43. Have you included the center section balcony? No. You counted the orchestra.
Donald, add one for me.
31, 32. for this.
You got it?
49.
John, 32 for the sign.
Does that include the balcony? Okay, 32.
It's 113.
And now we're going to do the center section.
49.
49, that includes the balcony. And what do you got?
I got 113.
113? Oh, that's more than sufficient. All right. This one passes.
This one passes. The delegates have spoken. Thank you. Thanks for your patience with this. Let's move on to Article 7.
And let me
which-
just do a quorum count. We got plenty of buffer, but I want to make sure people do get impatient. How many have been turned in on your side? 6. And on your side? How many? 0. All right, so we still have a quorum. Fine.
Okay, let's move on. Well, we have the quorum and move to Article 7, which is officers.
And Marilyn, if you have something, come up. Nobody can hear you. Dear, come up to the mic. Okay, fine.
Thank you. And I move that we accept Article 7 as presented.
All right, do we have a second on that motion? Mary Patrick? Oh, Lenore. Lenore Velkoff seconds the motion. All right. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Wouldn't appear to be. All right. All in favor? Same. There you go. You got that? 45 in the center?
Yep.
Go,
Just for the record,
go ahead, Randall.
on this one, you should ask for the no's,
We're going to ask, well,
just ask for the yes.
is that bad?
Yeah, it's all,
As long as we have 2/3, are we in trouble?
even though you have more than 2/3 yeses, you can't disenfranchise the people who vote no, so you should ask for the no's as well. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
I have 32 on the left.
All right, 115.
Okay, we have 115. This passes too. Randall has suggested, as a matter of record, that we ask for the no's as well, just to record it. Yeah, let's start with the first one, the no's on the first item. Give them a minute to count. This is the first, Article 6. Ten, 4. You have 10? You have 5. 4, 10, 5.
19.
So you have 19 no's, okay? Motion passes. Let's have the no's on the second, or Article 7. Four and 1, 5. 6. So obviously, it still passes. Now let's go to Article 8.
Right, Article 8 is committees.
Huh? Go ahead.
Oh, yes, Article 8 is committees. You have it in your revisions, and it explains all the committees, their functions, what they do, names of them, all of them are in there.
All right, is there a motion to accept Article 8? Randall?
Move to accept Article 8 as presented.
Okay. Randall moves to accept the Article 8 as presented. Do we have a second?
Goldfarb. Paul Goldfarb is seconding.
Okay, Paul Goldfarb seconds. All right. Is there any discussion on this item? I'm sensing a sense of impatience.
Yes, yes.
All right. Same drill. All in favor? Wow, looks unanimous almost. All right, give the counters a minute to get a good count. Sometimes the good old days are better than the new high-tech days. How many? 50? Wow.
And 36 on the left.
50, 40, 36, obviously.
120 down to 140.
All right, 126. And again, please, the noes, for the record.
Go votes.
You have two.
I didn't see any. None?
None. Oh.
3?
0.
Oh. All right.
2 noes.
Two noes. Okay. We'll, oh. All right. Now we have a call to record the abstentions. No. There is an objection to calling the abstentions. Yes, Randall.
At a small board meeting, yes, if you have a conflict of interest. To use the wise words of Robert in Robert's Rules, a person who fails to indicate his abstention abstains just as much as one who indicates it. So don't ask for it.
Okay. All right.
That he's looking for.
Okay. Thank you all. It's been a little dicey, but we've gotten through it. Anita, you have anything else?
No, except that we promise that the next ones, which are the last ones, will go much more smoothly. Thank you for your patience. Thank you to Randall. That's the process, and he's helping us. Thank you very,
Thank
very
you,
much.
Randall. It is good to have the occasional subject expert to keep us on track. Never hurts. Yes, dear.
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time, but it seems that the last couple of meetings, we've been kind of totally occupied with the voting, which was very important. But Foster was nice enough to put in his article last month, on November 1, a copy of which most people did not receive prior to the meeting, about revisiting the scene of the ambulance contract. And I think that's something that should be revisited, and Foster mentioned that perhaps a motion be made to do so. If this is appropriate, I would like to make that motion, because I think it's
And
an important
what
item.
is the motion?
To revisit whether or not the ambulance contract should remain as part of the budget.
Oh.
Because of the lack of use. Foster pointed out that there were only 20 calls in the month for a
Thought we
contract
had a
that's
vote on
costing us
this already.
$11,000.
Yeah,
We
it-
didn't. We
it-
never got to bring it up again. Foster mentioned it in the Yucca Reporter, but it never came up again.
I mean, I thought we
Right.
voted on it by passing it in the budget, but maybe I'm wrong.
Right, we did vote on it, and we did leave it in the budget. It was left for discussion. You can remove it if the contract expires next month, starting in January. Excuse me. If you want to remove that line item, it's $137,000. We did our homework, and we found out that we went from 1,000 calls to 400, now to minimal phone calls, less than 20 a month. You're paying $130,000 plus dollars for minimal service. It's not. It's an ambulance. We're getting people that are getting bills for $700, for $50. There should be no bill. They're having some issues. The service that we were getting has been reduced. And if it's an emergency call, the red truck will take you. They're not going to wait for AMR. It's only if it's a non-emergency, non-life-threatening. And you could wait up to a half hour. So it is up to the delegates. If you want to remove that from the budget, you can make a motion. You can, if it gets seconded, you can discuss it, and you can vote on it.
All right, are you moving to eliminate or to keep?
To remove the ambulance
All
contract.
right, you are making a motion to eliminate ambulance, our AMR, our ambulance service, from our budget. Is there a second for this?
No.
Yeah, it was essentially voted on by passing the budget. All right, but now you have someone bringing this up again, this particular line item.
And David,
What? Who's yelling at me? Can't hear you, Betty.
How much is it a month
11,000.
About $11,000 a month.
per person? How much are you paying?
Well, take out your little calculator and divide by 7,854. Exactly. You can't be yelling at me from the audience. If you have something to say, come up to the mic.
I think we're talking about $1 a month or something.
Say again.
Are we talking about $1 a month for this ambulance? Or what we're talking about?
Yes.
Peanut, even if it's not perfect, it's better than not having it. I mean, $1 a month.
Open the discussion.
It's
All
not.
right. Look, we have a motion.
There's a second. Paul Goldfarb seconds the.
We have a motion and we have a second. Paul Goldfarb. You can scream and yell till doomsday. If you have something to say, come up to the mic. All right? Now we're in discussion on this motion. This is an important motion. All right? And believe you me, when you want that ambulance, and I'm not going to bias, I don't want to bias anyone. You may say it's down to 2 or 3 pickups, but when you need it, you need it. And that's about all I can say. But it is certainly a lot of money for what appears to be diminishing returns. Molly.
Yes. I've lived here, my husband and I have lived here permanently for about 20 years now. And for the first 10 years, we were both very healthy. Now I want you to think about your budget. How many insurances do you pay for with the hope that you will never have to collect on them? I'm told that this is $1.25 a month, or $1.50 a month for each unit. In the last 10 years, Bob he has Parkinson's, and he's probably called them 10 times a month whenever he's home. He sometimes goes to nursing homes for a few weeks. But it's cheap enough, it's good service, they're wonderful to them, and I'm so thankful that I have had that service. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Sir.
The question I have, you mentioned a couple of times we've had reduced service, number of people is a lot less. Have you tried to renegotiate the contract? That's something I'd want to know before I vote on it.
We had Sarah in here. They're not particularly happy if they're going to want more money. That's the bottom line.
Even with the reduced count and everything else,
Yep.
they want more money. Okay.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi.
Susan from Coventry F. I'm concerned.
hear you.
A little closer to the mic.
I'm concerned about if it's $11,000 a month for 20 calls, they're making over $500 per call. If we called for an emergency, it might cost the individual the $700. I agree that that's outrageous, but they're making a lot of money on us if they're getting $500 for a taxi ride.
Yeah, can't argue with that. Marilyn.
Yes, Mr. President, this is out of order.
Ay, ay, ay. Why is it out of order? There's a motion, there's a second, we're in discussion.
I'm not going to argue that point with you, but it does not belong at this point. We finished the new business. We haven't even heard officers' reports in 2 and maybe even 3 months. We haven't heard committee reports. This is something that just came up out of the blue. If this
Okay.
has been talked about, why didn't we, the delegates, know about it beforehand? This is a total surprise to me, and I'm sure to many others, too.
That's right.
Okay, go ahead. Yes,
Mr.
dear.
Israel, if I may follow up a little bit, I'm not against having access to a service if somebody is in need, but I understand that our AMR contract is a non-life-threatening situation contract, and that we are forced in most cases to call 911, which is totally separate. I would almost suggest it, and I'm not concerned about the dollar or two. You don't worry about penny wise, pound, a dollar foolish. What I'm saying is if we're only using it approximately 20 times a month, and we are committed to paying the $137,000 a year for the contract, it would make more sense to, yes, leave in the budget an item, whatever you choose to call it, for emergency situations, if somebody is in need of an ambulance. But at the end of a year, if you've only used $50,000 of it, the other $87,000 remains in a fund for future need. I understand that as people get older, they need medical attention, but more often than not, it's something life-threatening that you're more concerned with. Then I sprain my ankle, have your neighbor bring you to the ambulance or the emergency room. We don't have to spend $11,000 plus a month. That's my only clarification.
All right.